In this video, I want to go over 5 ways that you can grow awesome pansies and snapdragons in containers. I've used this method for my summer annuals in the ground. I've used it for my summer annuals in pots. We've grown lantana, we've grown impatiens, we've grown all sorts of beautiful flowers using this 5-step method, and I want to share it with you here today. Let's get started. So the first step that I would recommend is, if you can, reuse your potting mix. Here, this is potting mix I used this summer. You can see here I missed a ornamental sweet potato that I didn't get out earlier. And so all I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove the top 6 inches or so of potting mix. The reason being is that pansies are not going to root deep in this pot at all. They're going to root down 6, 8, maybe 10 inches by the time that next spring rolls around in April. And so we don't need fresh potting mix all the way down to the bottom of the pot. It's just not necessary. The next step is just simply to replenish that top 6 inches that we took out. And so what I like to do, I've used this stuff for years, it's really good. This is Miracle-Gro potting mix. And so we're just going to put a fresh layer of Miracle-Gro potting mix on top of the potting mix that we used during the summer. So during the summer, I had a mixture of annuals in here. I had ornamental sweet potatoes, you just saw me pull one out. We had some sun coleus, I think we had some geraniums, just all sorts of stuff in here. And those will root all the way down to the bottom of the pot, but these pansies will not. So all we're doing is just filling this pot back up the last 6 or 8 inches of the top with fresh potting mix. When I plant pansies or any annual or any shrub, don't just pull the vegetative material right out of the pot. Turn it over on its side, give it a nice little massage and ease it out. Reason being is you can separate the vegetative material from the root ball, and we do not want that. Look how nice and healthy these root balls are on these pansies. And I'm going to do pansies around the edges, and we're going to plant all these in. In the middle, I'm going to do snapdragons. Now these snapdragons, I'm going to be honest with you, they do not look great right now. I think I can nurse them back to health. I found these snapdragons on sale at the clearance rack at Lowe's, and that's one thing I would encourage all our viewers to do, is anytime you're at the big box stores, if you walk into a Lowe's or a Home Depot, go to the back of the garden center. Most of the time they have a clearance rack. I got these snapdragons for 80 cents a piece, or 88 cents a piece. They're normally $1.88 a piece. I got them for 88 cents, had them $1 off. And really the only thing that's wrong with them is they need to be deadheaded and they need a little fertilizer. There's no evidence of any pathogens on them. I checked them for like root rot, pythium, botrytis, things like that. They look great. I didn't see any aphids or any insects on them, so I picked them up. I think they're going to make a nice addition here. But we're just going to take these pansies and we're going to plant them more or less in a circle all the way around. And then in the middle, what we'll do is we're going to put their snapdragons in. And make sure when you plant that the top of your root ball is level with the top of your potting mix in your pot. Don't plant them too deep, don't plant them too shallow. We want to keep these pansies happy. I'm doing this here the last day of September. Today is September the 30th. And I like to plant these a little bit early. Yeah, I could have left my annuals in here another month or so. My average first frost is November 11th. I like to tell people our first frost is somewhere between Halloween and Thanksgiving. And that's, I'd say 19 out of 20 years that's the case. But I'm going to plant these a little early because I want them to grow, because once we get to where the frost is happening every day, they don't grow a whole lot. So I'm doing this a little early. I'm going to give them a month to grow. And the last thing we'll do is put in these snapdragons. Now, like I said, they don't look the best right now, but I think here in another week or two they'll look fantastic. So we'll do 2 snapdragons right in the middle. So now that we're planted, the third thing I'm going to do is add some Dr. Earth Pure Gold. So this is going to be mycorrhizae inoculum. And so mycorrhizae is a family of fungi that form a symbiotic relationship with plants. So the mycorrhizae, they're going to attach to the roots of the plants, and then they grow down into the soil layer, and they're going to grab all those things that plants need, the nitrogen, the phosphorus, the potassium, and they're going to send that up the roots of the plant. In return, the plant sends sugars down to the fungus, so both organisms mutually benefit. And I've been using this stuff for several years now. I get awesome results with it. And so we're just going to put a handful of Dr. Earth Pure Gold in there. And this is going to greatly enhance our plant's ability to take up nutrients. The fourth thing we're going to do is add a slow release fertilizer. So I like using Osmocote. This particular one is a 120-day prill. So this is going to feed me all of October, all of November, all of December, all of January. And then here in my area, we get into February and March. They're going to be grown out as much as they're going to grow. At the end of March, first part of April, we're pulling these out anyway, and we're starting to think about summer annuals again. So this is just a good slow release fertilizer. And we're just going to sprinkle some of this over the top. And then once we're done with that, just kind of knock the fertilizer off the foliage. Make sure it's down on the soil layer. And then that way, we don't run the risk of a fertilizer prill burning the leaf material. The fifth thing we're going to do is add biokelp. So biokelp in and of itself is not really a fertilizer, but what it does is it increases the nutrient availability to the plant. So to get scientific, it increases the cation exchange capacity of the soil. It just means that the nutrients that are bound to the soil layer are going to release into solution, and the roots of the plant are going to be able to take up the nutrients that we have put in here. So we're just going to water this with biokelp. And that's it. We're going to water this probably every other day. I may have to bump that up to every day. I'm still really warm right now. I've got temperatures in the 80s, almost 90 degrees here in the first part of October. We're in a little bit of a heat wave here where I'm at, so I may have to water once a day. But I'll just do the finger test. The finger test is you just stick your finger down in the soil to your middle knuckle. If it's dry, you water. If it's moist, don't worry about it. We don't want to water pansies too much because they do tend to get botrytis, which is a root rot disease, and we do not want to encourage that. So I have a series of pots I'm going to do. This is the first one. I'm going to do 2, 3, maybe 4 more. We'll just see how many pansies we have. And we're going to put these on the patio, and it's going to provide nice annual color throughout the fall and winter for us here. I'm in zone 7B, 8A. I'm right on the line between the two, and pansies and snapdragons do a fantastic job for us. One thing that I would recommend, if you live in an area that has a lot of deer pressure, if you have deer coming through your yard, don't plant these in your yard. Deer love pansies. I can't tell you how many times I've seen pansies ate off all the way to the ground where deer have come through and ate them up. But if you've got pots and you can keep them on a patio where the deer aren't going to get to them, this is a great, great option for you. Guys, as always, thank you for watching The Plant Doctor. And until next time, happy gardening.